Welcome back to Simrite Fashion Academy for another tutorial. So today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to make this patterned shirt gown. So for this shirt gown we have a shirt inside, and we now have the Ankara patch like a jacket to it. So this is very simple to make and is beginners friendly as well. So here I have my center front and my shoulder pattern. Okay, so what we are making here is dartless. There's no dart attached to it. You can see I've drawn my lines, and these lines are the basic lines we need, which is the chest and the waist, the hip and the full length. So now that we have all of this, our chest, our hip and the full length, the next we want to start is to impute our necessary measurements. So I'm doing this on a small scale, so that means every measurement I'm making use of here will be reduced. So I'm going ahead to form my neckline. So this neckline is going to be permanent for this particular design. The reason is because this is a shirt. I have a detailed video on how to make a shirt collar, so you can check out the shirt collar drafting, so you'll be able to attach your collar to this accordingly. So I'm taking the measurement of the shoulder and I'll drop it by 1 inch at this point. So I'm going to slant my shoulder. So the measurement I have here, I'm going to retake it on the chest line. This is it on the chest line. And then I'm going to mark it out, as you can see right there. So I'm getting the midline. This is the midline. And I'll just step in by 0.75 from the midline and connect. The bust circumference divided by 4 I'm going to mark for my small scale. So if you are making this, you know, of course you are going to make it on your dress. I'll come over to the waist and I'm taking my waist measurement. I'm taking it exactly and I'm going to connect. My hip measurement, I'm going to take my round hip measurement divided by 4 exactly, and I'm going to, okay, let me have it here. It's a small scale. I'm going to connect. So what I have here, I will come in with it right here. That is if you are making this your skirt straight. If you want it penciled, you know how to go about it. So this is the basic drafting we need. So now I'm going to highlight or separate these two patterns. From the mid armhole, I'm going to come up. I'm coming up from the mid armhole by 1 inch. So this is my 1 inch line. And I'll measure from my shoulder to that point. Whatever I have, I'll make a straight line to it. So like I said, this is a small scale. So I'll just make something from this line. Okay, let me just make something from this line. But you have to come up by 1 inch if you are making your own pattern. So this pattern has a button allowance. Okay, it has a button allowance for both of the dresses. So I'm going to make button allowances for them, and on the neckline for this I'll make button allowance for it. So we'll be having buttons for the lower part. I will be having buttons for the inner part. So what I have here is the lower part, and I'm going to trace it out right now. So like I said, the pattern is actually beginners friendly. It's very simple to make. So as you see it right there, it looks as if it's difficult, but this is it, and that is how to go about it. So I'll just quickly trace out my pattern. Okay, I'm tracing it out from that point, and from this point I'm going to also trace out. I'm looking at what I have Okay, so that is that. So next I'm going to connect to the armhole, and next I will go by the side and connect to this point, and we are done. So I'm going to cut off what I have on this pattern. So this pattern piece, you are going to cut 2 times of it, the way you see right there. So you are going to cut 2 times of your pattern. Okay, so this is it, and then I'll just shaping to make sure it lays on the allowance. So here we'll be having we'll be break even it at 3 inches, okay, to have that design. So if I have to go up at 3 inches, this is my 3 inches, okay. So remember, this has a button allowance, just like the way you make your jacket. So I will just break even it at 3 inches from here, and I'll come in to where I want it to stop, probably at 3 inches as well for the small scale. So for bigger scale, you can make it at 4 inches or 5 inches. So at this 3 inches, I'll come in, because it has a button, I'll come in by 1 inch. So this is where the button is going to sit. So I'm going to make a break even point for it, and this is the line of my break even point. So here it will break even and form that collar design. So here, this is where I'm going to make the break even. So you can see that. Can you see? So by the time you lay it on top of the men's shirt dress, this is the men's shirt dress, you can see the buttons of the shirt dress continued up to that point. So this is the waist, and this is the side of it. So this is how it will break even. So you are going to sew this and turn, okay, with the same Ankara piece. You are going to sew this completely, turn, go in and iron it out very appropriately. Okay, so once you iron it out, then once you sew the sleeve is starting from this point. Of course, you know how to sew your cold shoulder. If you don't know how to sew your cold shoulder sleeve, we have a little video right on this channel on how to sew your cold shoulder. So I will just cut off this pattern now. I'm cutting off. So when you are sewing this dress, remember the skirt piece also has a button. There's a button on the skirt piece as well. So that is why I have to make this up to the skirt level. So on this point I'm cutting is the neckline. Okay, so the neckline is going to be these shirts. This particular shirt will be sewn separately. So let me cut it because it's going to be sewn separately. So you finish up this shirt, and you come with this after you have done with your lining, and you place it right on top. Can you see? And it forms one piece for you. You can see it's forming one piece for you. So the whole of this the button we have here and this is going to continue the button we have right here. If you look at that dress, you can see is a whole button. So this and this will be together at the end of the day with the button allowance. Okay, you are going to sew this. Okay, once you have sewn this to this, after everything, this skirt piece will come and be sewn with a full button allowance. So this is just an illusion to it. So the whole full button runs completely, just like you have your gown with center button. So I believe this illustration is helpful to you. So if you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this every day. Like this video, share to family and friends. Drop your comment on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you for coming, and see you in the next one. Bye.